Hello students, so welcome back to your online classes. This is your biology class and now we are going to start with the next chapter, that is chapter 7, respiration in plants. In this chapter we will study about the respiration, particularly with respect to the plants and some of the experiments related to respiration. Okay, you all know that like all other organisms, plants also require energy to carry out the various metabolic activities going on inside their cells. So this energy they get from the breakdown of food, which in other words we say respiration. So let us first understand what is respiration. Now see, you have studied in junior classes that respiration takes place inside the cells and it is respiration is the breakdown of food which is in the form of glucose. All of you know this equation also you have studied many times. This glucose and oxygen oxidizes this glucose, or we say that the breakdown of glucose inside the cells which results in the formation of carbon dioxide and water and energy. And this energy is in the form of a chemical complex, a chemical compound, we call it ATP, adenosine triphosphate, right? This all of you know, and this process takes place in our cells, in the cells. Now in case of plants, there are two processes. You have studied photosynthesis also. Photosynthesis, and you all know what is photosynthesis. By this process, the green plants, they manufacture their food. And photosynthesis, glucose is synthesized from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. And you all know chlorophyll, the plants can convert, the cells can convert this into food, which is again in the form of glucose, and it gets converted in starch. And in this process oxygen is produced. Now in plants both these processes take place simultaneously, and you know that photosynthesis takes place only during daytime because for this sunlight is important, whereas respiration is a continuous process and it takes place all the times. Although during daytime photosynthesis is more vigorous, it is more vigorous. Oxygen which is produced in photosynthesis will be used, some of it is used for respiration, and since it is produced in large quantity, large amounts, most of it is liberated to the atmosphere through the stomata. Okay, and same way during respiration the carbon dioxide which is formed, the end product of respiration, carbon dioxide, this carbon dioxide gets trapped in the cells of the plants and it is used for photosynthesis next day. Okay, so you should not be confused. Respiration is a continuous process. At night only respiration, and during daytime both the processes are going on simultaneously. Now we are particularly talking about respiration in this chapter. Okay, so now you all know that respiration is the breakdown of the food, and that is glucose with oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water and ATP. Now many times we have studied this equation, but children, now you will study that this process is not so simple as represented in a single step. This is only the outline. Actually this process of respiration is a very complex process and it takes place in phases. So this is a complex process. If you would study biology in the higher classes, you will study how complex it is and what are the various steps related in this process of respiration. But for now you need to study that respiration takes place in two main phases. First is the first phase which takes place in the cytoplasm, of the cells, and the phase is called glycolysis. We call it glycolysis. The first phase of respiration, glycolysis, it takes place in cytoplasm. And the second phase takes place inside the mitochondria. You have studied in chapter 1 that mitochondria are the sites of respiration. Okay, aerobic respiration is completed in mitochondria. So second phase takes place in mitochondria, and the phase is known as Krebs cycle. Krebs cycle. Both you will study in higher classes, but for now you need to remember that respiration takes place in two phases. Glycolysis. First is glycolysis, which takes place in cytoplasm, and during glycolysis this glucose is converted into another chemical compound. We call it pyruvate. Glucose is converted into a chemical compound called pyruvate. Okay, further pyruvate enters the mitochondria, and it gets, from pyruvate we get carbon dioxide, water and energy. This energy is in the form of a chemical compound. Some energy is lost as heat, very less. Most of it is in the form of a chemical compound, and you all know it is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so you can refer your books. Now we will study from the book and see the breakdown of glucose to carbon dioxide and water does not occur in a single step, but in a series of chemical steps. These steps occur in two major phases, glycolysis and Krebs cycle. Glycolysis, glucose gets converted into pyruvate and it occurs in cytoplasm. And Krebs cycle, pyruvate converts into carbon dioxide, water and ATP, and this occurs in mitochondria. Now each of the various steps in these two phases, each step is brought about by a particular enzyme. And the energy liberated in the breakdown of glucose is not all in the form of heat, but a large part of it is converted into chemical energy in the form of ATP. That is a chemical substance called adenosine triphosphate. So when energy in the form of ATP is used, ATP is converted into ADP. Now see, so glucose, now we have formed carbon dioxide and water are the end products, and what we are getting is energy, and this energy is in the form of ATP. Okay, now ATP is used by our body cells, used in the cells for various processes, means like formation of new cells. There are so many activities going on in our cells, formation of complex chemical compounds such as formation of proteins, molecules, organelles, and new cells are formed. All those, for each step energy is used, for each metabolic activity energy is used. When energy is used, suppose one molecule of ATP is used, then energy used, so this ATP gets converted into adenosine diphosphate, ADP, adenosine diphosphate, then adenosine monophosphate. Okay, here from here phosphate is comes out, and it gets converted into adenosine diphosphate, and then again we synthesize ATP. ADP will again get converted into ATP when we get food, when we eat food, or you can say during the process of respiration. So this process is explained in your books as this figure. So you can see here breakdown of food glucose, that is glucose in respiration. So energy some is in the form of heat, and then it is in the form of ATP. Now ATP energy is used in work, various kinds, and when it is used, so ATP will be converted into ADP, and after that again when energy new energy is synthesized, it again gets converted into ATP. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation to show the use of energy liberated in respiration. Now the living organisms as I told you that there are various activities going on. We call them metabolic activities. These metabolic activities are categorized as anabolic and catabolic. Anabolic means biosynthetic or constructive. For example, for your understanding, I can give you certain examples. For example, in our body, what things are formed? For example, new cells are formed. Okay, then proteins are formed from amino acids. So these can be such type of processes where something is formed, constructed. Those processes, energy is used, consumed. Such processes are called anabolic. And when there is breakdown of the processes, for example, the breakdown of glucose, like you have studied in respiration, breakdown of glucose into energy. Okay, so we will say it as catabolic process, destructive or breaking down process. In a single cell, both processes can take place simultaneously. There is breakdown, respiration is going on, and in the same cell, after the energy is formed, we are using the same energy to form some of the things, maybe the cell walls, maybe the new cells, maybe the repair of the cells. So catabolic, anabolic, both processes take place in the living organisms. Okay, and respiration is a breaking down process by which living cell oxidizes organic substance, that is glucose, and it releases carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now this we have studied. Now the next topic is there is a comparison between respiration and burning, or we can say combustion. Sometimes we compare respiration as well as burning, although there is nothing common in them except that in both energy is released. In burning, we are releasing heat and light, energy is formed, whereas in respiration we are consuming glucose and forming carbon dioxide, little heat and energy. So there is a comparison in the table, you can just go through. Respiration is cellular, you all know it takes place in the cells. Burning is non-cellular process, and respiration occurs at body temperature, whereas burning will take place at a high temperature or ignition temperature. Each of the burning items have their own ignition temperature. Some catch fire very quickly, some at a low temperature, some need very high temperature. So accordingly there will be burning. Now third is respiration occurs in chemical steps. As I told you, there are series of steps, whereas burning takes place in single step. Respiration is carried out by enzymes, and burning no enzymes are present. Respiration is biochemical and it is physiochemical, it is a physical process, and chemical also because certain things are changed, converted, their chemical properties are converted. Here energy is liberated as some heat and ATP, whereas in burning you know that all energy is converted into heat and light. And in respiration no light is produced, no light energy, whereas in burning light energy is produced. So just a mere comparison, you can go through it. The next topic is the entire plant respires. Now we have studied that plants, there are many processes going on such as photosynthesis, respiration, and during respiration you all know that carbon dioxide comes out and oxygen is used by the cells. So this outlet of gases or inlet of gases takes place from which parts of the plants? As you know that plants, you all have studied, they have stomata in the leaves. From the stomata gaseous exchange takes place. Similarly in the stems you have also studied that there are lenticels, the openings in the stems, in the tubers, these are called lenticels. And then the general surface of the roots can also be used for aeration, for exchange of gases. That is the reason we are plowing the soil and tilling the soil, because when we loosen the soil, there is lot of air or oxygen which is available to the roots, and there can be exchange of gases. Fine. So this is all about respiration, a general point. Now we can just go through the progress check. So write down the important aspects about the overall chemical equation of respiration pertaining to the following. Number of steps for glucose to break down. So how many steps are there? There are 2 steps. First is glycolysis and second is Krebs cycle. Write down 2 steps. Involvement of enzymes. Yes, each step is brought about by a particular enzyme. Forms of energy liberated. ATP and some heat. Now list 3 ways in which respiration is different from burning. You can note down any 3 from here. And name the 3 inlets of oxygen for respiration in plants. Again, stomata, lenticels and general surface of the roots. Now the next we will continue in the next video.